We started yesterday, didn't we? How is everybody? We see 10, 8, 7, 5, 3, don't know, 11, 0, 3. Just waiting for Mr. P to log on as well, and we'll bring him up, co-presenter. Now, some of you have never met me before. Can you just say right now, me, on the chat if you've never met me before? Just write me. All right, there is a few people. Well, hello to those who said me. My name is Mr. C. I teach at Mansfield State High School. I've been coaching writing for a long, long time, teaching for 32 years. My interests are cricket, computers, and cooking. Quite handily, they all start with the letter C. And kids, which doesn't start with C, but I love doing this. Now, we've got some amazing tips that we're going to share to help you succeed in NAPLAN, all right? But before we begin, we need to establish some rules. And the rules are, when it's time for chatting, talk to each other, chat. When it's time for practice, we don't chat, okay? Because the system will relog you in. It kicks you out and comes back in, okay? We don't want people chatting during work time because that uses up the chat space. And every comment you make, it pushes people's writing off the screen. And I say it's like walking up to a student's desk in school and flicking their work off the desk, okay? So when it's time to chat, we chat. When it's time to work, we work, okay? Do we understand that? I think so. Just waiting for Mr. P. Looks like he's trying to log on. I can see him up there. There he is.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Mr.
Just
P.
a few technical hiccups as per usual.
Yep.
For me.
Not on our end, as per usual.
G'day, guys.
So welcome everybody to the NAPLAN Blitz. As you know, there's going to be two types of questions you're going to be asked. So one could be a narrative, a short story, and one could be persuasive. So we're going to start with narrative today, but we will also be looking at the persuasive to ensure that we've got both covered for you. So let's begin. So this is where the chat stops. It's listening time. I do control the chat box if I need to turn it off. Let's have a look at the test first of all. So whether you're grade 3, 5, 7, or 9, our tips are for everybody, okay? The good news is this. The test in NAPLAN is 40 minutes. That's like an eternity. That's a long time, right? So we have another course that we do on Thursday nights where we train kids to do this task in 15 minutes, and they succeed too. But you guys in NAPLAN have double plus an extra 10 minutes. River, hold the comments, please. It's listening time. So you have 40 minutes to do the task. So that is a long time, and that works in our favor. As we know, it could be any topic, narrative or persuasive. So we're going to play around with some topics over the next 9 days that could be NAPLAN type topics. I want you to know you'll have 5 minutes to plan, and trust me, that is enough, okay? So during the test, you'll look at the clock, and when they say go, you do your planning for roughly 5 minutes, look up and go, okay, I'm now ready to start. And don't panic. There is plenty of time for a student who is organized. There is plenty of time. The kids who don't finish are the ones who are disorganized. So we're going to help you to show you how to organize yourself with the plan. And we're going to do lots of plans. So you see how easy it is to do in 5 minutes. And again, remember, we train our Thursday students to plan in 2 minutes. And if they can do it, you can easily do it in 5 minutes, okay? In the test, you also have to think differently. You have to make sure you're sticking to the topic. You have to use techniques. And the most important thing, write. I don't like it when I'm supervising NAPLAN tests and I see kids just staring. You know what that shows? Lack of preparation. But that will not happen to you guys, okay? You will all be prepared and you'll know exactly what to write. We're going to show you how easy that is. Now, the thing is, with your tests, just know that the 40 minutes is plenty of time. There is no need to panic. Do what we say, practice what we say, and you'll be fine. You will, all of you, when you logged on this morning, you had to put your name and an email address. Now, as long as you wrote the email address correctly, if you made a spelling mistake, sorry, you're not going to get it. But if you wrote your email approximately half an hour after the lesson, you'll be emailed a link with the recording of this to watch again. And if you want, practice again. And you can watch it again. Now, these recordings, they will stay online for about a week. So you'll have a week to rewatch this lesson. After a week, they go off the system and new lessons take their place. Okay, so just so you know, you'll have a chance to review these lessons and do extra practice, which is important if you want to do well. Okay, can't stress it enough. Practice, 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 practice. Alrighty, let's have a look at narrative. First of all, year 3-5, what the test actually looked like. This was from 2015. Okay, let's have a read. Imagine was the topic. Imagine if a character found an object that made something amazing happen. Write a story about the adventure. You can use the characters and objects on this page. You see, they give you ideas. If you're a visual person, they put some ideas there. But watch what it says. Or you can make up your own. You don't have to use one of these pictures. They're just there to guide you. But watch this. You've got to think about your characters and where they are. You've got to think about a complication or problem to be solved. You've got to think about an ending. And this is exactly the structure we'll be teaching you. Some of you know it already. Plan your story before you start. Choose your words carefully. Write in sentences. Pay attention to spelling, punctuation, and paragraphs. Check and edit your writing. That was grade 3 and 5. In the same year, let's have a look at what the grade 7s and 9s did. The sign said. Write a narrative about what happened to a character or characters after reading a sign. After reading a sign. You can use a sign on this page, but watch what theirs says as well. Or you can make up your own sign. These are just a guide. Think about the characters and where they are, the complication or problem, how the story will end. And again, this is perfect. This is the structure we teach, and it's the structure you're going to practice. Plan your story, choose your words, write in sentences, pay attention to spelling, punctuation, paragraphs, check and edit your writing. You see? Very simple to do. Alrighty. Let's have a look now at what we want you to do in the planning stage. We want you to write these black words on your page. You'll have a page for planning and 2 pages for writing. You actually write title, who, where, what. Now, I'll just tell you, this 10-com bit, for those of you who are new, that is, I'll just fill it in, tension, complication, and resolution. Now, the reason I use the shortcut is because it saves you writing it. But essentially, this is what happens. The who is a paragraph, a whole paragraph about your character. See, these are separate paragraphs. The where is a paragraph about your setting, separate paragraph. The what, a separate paragraph, is what is your character doing at this place? They've got to be there for a reason. They're not just randomly there. A whole paragraph. Then the tension. You introduce the problem, right? That's the tension. In the complication, it's really simple. You make the problem worse. And finally, the resolution, end the story. Now, it doesn't have to solve the problem. It could be a cliffhanger. I don't mind those. Or you could solve the problem. All right? So these here are 6 paragraphs. 6 paragraphs that we want you to use to write this story, because it's exactly the structure they asked for on the test. 6 paragraphs, one there, one there, one there. Now those 3 are what's called the orientation, okay? And these 3 form the complication and resolution. They go in that order. Look, if you want to do the where first, the what, then the who, mix these first 3, that's okay, but I recommend stick to these 3, okay? Now you'll notice another column here, action column, and I will show you what that is in a moment. But right now, let's draw our attention to the word count. Have a look. Have a look at what grade you are, and have a look at roughly how many words per paragraph. So if you're in grade 3, 6 40s makes 240. Grade 5, you're going to end up doing about roughly 300 words. Year 7's approximately 360. Year 9's approximately 420 words. That's approximately the average of what I've seen in all these grades as I've supervised NAPLAN and got their results back, etc., etc., etc. Now let's understand this. If a sentence is on average 10 words per sentence, that means year 3's, you're doing 4 sentences for each paragraph. Year 5's, 5 sentences. Year 7's, approximately 6. Year 9's, approximately 7 sentences per paragraph. Please pay attention to that number. You don't want to go too much over. The reason is, if you do too much character, too much setting, you're losing time, okay? Stick to these word limits, right? So you can write a good story that has balance. Now, if you're a great year 3 writer and you think, oh, I could do 50, that's okay. I said approximately, but this is roughly what we expect from each grade, okay? So this is the plan. We want you to write title and name it. And look, the name is really simple. Don't get fancy. Just go the sign. That's enough for a title, right? If it was the grade 7 to 9 one, okay, that's enough. You don't need a fancy title. And then just write who, where, what, tension, complication, resolution, okay? Who, where, what, ten, com, res. I'm going to release the chat. I want you all to practice writing those 6 things. I know, just write who, where, what, 10, com, res, and then hit enter, okay? I'm releasing the chat. Let's go. I want you to write those things for me. Go. Who, where, what, 10, com, res. Practice writing that. Do it 3 times.
All in one sentence. Just wait, Gerald. Now, Rui, this is for next year.
Com, res. Who, where, what, 10, com, res. Who, where, what, 10, com, res. And it's really simple, okay? It's who, where, what, tension, which introduces the problem, complication makes it worse, resolution, okay? Simple.
Good.
Excellent. And if you've done that, please pause the chat. Students, you might say, oh, but my teacher said. Okay, wait. You might have a teacher who says, oh, I want 2 problems in the story. No. NAPLAN does not, you saw it. It does not expect 2 problems. If your teacher wants that for school writing, that's okay. This is not school writing. This is NAPLAN testing, okay? Stick to 1 problem to make it easy for you to plan. Now, what I'm going to give you now is the rules of the short story. It's really simple. You ready? Watch this. Pause the chat. One character in one place with one problem for 1 minute. Okay? Now, let me explain what this is. You want just one main character. You don't have enough time or enough words to explore other characters and what they're doing. Stick to one character. Okay? Next, keep the story in one place. Don't have them moving around. You don't have enough words to write a good story. Give them only one problem for the same reason. There isn't enough words to introduce a second problem. And finally, this is the hardest. If your story were a little movie, the movie should last for about 1 minute. In other words, you don't wait 30 minutes later, an hour later, the next day, the following year. We don't want that, okay? Your scene should take approximately about 1 minute, okay? Now, can you please tell me out of 5 how much you understand those rules? One character in one place with one problem for 1 minute out of 5. Do you understand what I'm saying? Good. Excellent. This is a great group, Mr. P.
It sure is.
Well done. Okay, let's move on. I want to show you what the action column was. Now, I'm writing a story about Shrek. This is Shrek 3 years later or something like that, okay? So like an epilogue. If you know what that is, it's the part after the book. So let's have a look at my plan. Let's have a look. It's called Shrek the After Party. Who? Shrek. And this is how you do your planning. Just put one name. Where? Front porch. Okay, he's at his house. What? He's writing to Fiona. Tension. He's hit on the head by a rock. Complication. There's a note attached to it that says Fiona was captured. Resolution. Run, fatty, run. He's got to go save her. Right? That's it. It does not include where he goes to save her. Okay? That's a chapter. We're not writing a chapter. I'm just writing the 1 minute. Get this. I'm writing about the 1 minute where Shrek is sitting on his porch writing to Fiona. He misses her. He gets hit on the head by a rock. The note says Fiona's been captured again. And he says, right, I will go save her. That's it. We do not follow him around trying to solve the problem, etc., and go save her. But watch the action column. Each paragraph will start with an action of what Shrek did. So, in the who paragraph, the first sentence is about him glancing in the distance, looking. The where paragraph starts with him thinking about Fiona. The what paragraph is him writing a letter. The tension paragraph begins with him standing up, calling out, who's there? Because he got hit in the head. Complication, he reads the note. Resolution, he prepares to leave. You see, those 6 actions, which are the first sentence of each paragraph, add up to approximately 1 minute of time. Notice he does not go on a big adventure to go save it. You don't have the words to do it. You need 2,000 or 3,000 words to do that, guys. Okay? Look, they made a whole movie out of Shrek rescuing Fiona the first time. A whole movie. You can't do it in a short story. So this is one short moment in time. It's a scene. I hope you understand what a scene is. It's part of a movie. Because, a movie is actually like 20 to 25 little problems all stitched together. That's what movies are. Well, we're taking one of those problems and turning it into a short story. Okay? I hope you understand that. Now, what I'm going to do is read you an example so you can see exactly what is 1 minute of action with one character in one place. Okay? So it's listening time. No, the planning is not marked. So I'm pausing the chat. Let's listen. So you'll notice the first paragraph is all about the who. The next is all about the where. The next is all about the what. The next is about the tension. Then I have a complication. Then I have a resolution or an ending. Okay? I've followed the plan exactly. Here we go. Shrek's cinnamon eyes glanced wearily over the swamp. His trumpet-like ears twitched, a permanent symptom of having a dragon roar right in his face. Frayed and requiring the attention of needle and thread, his brown leather vest, once able to stretch across his bulging torso, barely fit across his shoulders now he'd gained so much weight. After Fiona left with the kids almost 2 summers ago now, the once mighty green ogre was but a shadow of his former heroic self, and a much fatter one. See, that's all about Shrek. Now the where. Gone were the triumphant choruses that sounded throughout the swamp. The toads, skinks, and salamanders now hummed a mournful tune, matching the sorrow of the gentle giant. Even the willow leaves were turned downward in a sad expression of grief. Fireflies that once danced high in the night lay glumly on rotting timbers. That's all about the swamp, the where. Then we have the what. What's he doing? In his giant, chubby hands, the merch pen with his and Donkey's face, now faded, had written no more than Dear Fiona. Words tumbled and fell in his mind, unable to reach the page. He'd give anything to have her back, climb any tower, fight any army, slay any dragon. Like the swamp, his life had lost the vibrant lime hue and turned to a lifeless seaweed green. That's what he's doing. Now here comes the problem, introducing it. A crack in the night stilled the chirping of the insects. The fireflies took flight. A shadow approached the lonely, hulking figure, moving soundlessly from tree to tree, seeking the perfect shot. The intruder raised the sight, placing the target in the middle of the ogre's forehead. Bang! The pebble hit Shrek squarely on the head. What the devil? Who's there? Shrek struggled out of the wretched recliner and peered through the gloom. He looked down. The missile lay on the timber, wrapped up tight. This is where it's complicating it, right? His fumbling fat fingers untied the thread and unfolded the parchment. A note. Fiona's been taken hostage again. Meet me at the usual spot. D. Fiona! Shrek's voice boomed through the swamp. I'm coming, my love. Short of breath already, he waddled as fast as his dumpy legs could carry his blimp-like body. Locking the door behind him, he was exhausted. He wondered whether Donkey would allow him to ride on his back. End of story. That will score top marks in NAPLAN. Now, I'm going to release the chat. I want you to tell me, in that story, what did you notice? Go. Everything you noticed about that story. Why is it good? Why does it work? Yes, lots of adjectives. Yes, Ethan, it's short. Very descriptive, Narui. Yes, Ian, you're right. There is a lot of description. Yes, excellent. Yes, Caleb, a lot of details went in it. Yes, Michelle, I built up the tension to capture the reader. Yes, I've left it on a cliffhanger, Ian. Yes, it adds life to the story. There is mood. Thank you.
Good, Vivian.
Short paragraphs. Yes. Yes, not a lot of dialogue. Excellent. There isn't a lot of talking. We don't want a lot of talking. That should be another rule.
Why not, Mr. C?
The reason why the talking off kids don't know how to do talking properly, Mr. P. That's why.
It just becomes a big conversation.
Dialogue has a purpose, and there's with only one character, who they're going to talk to.
The key is that you just need to prove to your examiner or marker or teacher, whatever you want to call them, that you are capable of punctuation. That's it, okay?
Yes, exactly that. So this now you can see it is short. That's only 1 minute of action. He's in his chair, gets hit by a rock, reads the note, I've got to save Fiona. That's it. It's one little scene of the movie. That's what your story is. Okay, it's time to practice. I've got here on the next slide a bunch of topics that we can practice planning. Remember, you have 5 minutes, plenty of time. Our Thursday kids do this in 2. But being your first time, you might need all 5, and that's okay. But look what I did, guys. Really simple. Shrek, front porch, ride to Fiona, hit on head, Fiona's captured, run, go save her, right? That's as basic as you need to do. Keep it simple. We're going to do the who, where, what, tension, complication, resolution first. Don't worry about the action yet. Let's just make sure we're getting this right first, that it's 1 minute. So this is how I want you to do it on the chat. All right? You go like this. You go who? Shrek. You go where? Swamp. Then you go what? Writing letter. Then you go tension, hit on head. Then you go complication, and you write Fiona captured. And then resolution, he prepares to leave. And then hit enter on your keyboard. In other words, keep typing, and when you get to the end, then hit enter. So we see it all in one line, okay? All right, that's what you do. You've got plenty of time. Now, with this part, the action and the plan, I reckon the first part, if you need 5 minutes, the first part should take 2, the second part 3, okay? So we're going to give you 2 minutes right now to think of a name for your character. Where are they? What they're doing? Introduce the problem, make it worse. How would you end it? Okay? Now, with the name, please understand you need an interesting name, not ridiculous. It can't be a common name. We don't want Bob, Bill, Mark. We don't, they're not bad names, but in stories, these are what kids use all the time. You want to be a little bit different. For example, Conrad. That makes the teacher go, huh, that's an interesting name for a character. All right, you understand? So slightly different, but not silly. And what I reckon you should do, have a couple of names prepared before you walk in the test. A girl's name and a boy's name, right? There's going to be a character in the story, so have them prepared. Here we go. I'm going to pick a topic from this list. All right, let's go with the long day. Take 30 seconds to think. Don't write yet, just 30 seconds to think. The long day. How could I write a story about that? Because the name is tricky. The name suggests you have to write about a whole day. I disagree. I think you could write at the end of a long day. For example, it might have been, my character might have been trekking on a camping trip. They were trekking in the mountains and they were resting in a cave. So after a long day's walk, you just mentioned like a flashback that he or she had done a long day's walk, but now this scene is occurring while they're resting. Don't fall into the trap of having to explain a long day that takes 24 hours. That's a trap. Either go before the long day begins, or more appropriately, think of a story after. Now, another thing about the where, guys, try not to do school or home. Again, most kids will do that. Avoid school or home. Show that you're different. Show the teacher that you're thinking. Okay? So, you've got 2 minutes. Let's go. Who, where, what, 10, res, go. 2 minutes. Jarian, tomorrow log in with your name. Michelle, I like the idea. I would think maybe rather than the helicopter comes and saves him, I would think he hears the helicopter blades coming and leave it as a cliffhanger. Literally, I didn't mean to make a joke out of that.
It's got potential. It's good.
1 minute left for this bit, students.
Yes, Ian. Simple but effective.
Yep, good, Ian.
Nice dubs.
Yep, that'll work.
Interesting. No, really.
Yep.
Do another one.
Thirty seconds, students. Oh, Jay, that would be very difficult to write for 1 minute of action. Have a look. I think there's a lot going on there.
That'll work,
Vivian,
Ethan.
be careful of magical things, okay? As a teacher, I go, that's a bit unrealistic. Okay, try and keep it a little bit believable.
Zach,
We
too
generally try
long.
and avoid the magic.
We only want 1 minute. Oh, just a little snapshot.
Well done, guys. You certainly met the 2 minutes. It's not hard, is it? Okay. If
Yes,
you're
Daisy.
still finishing yours, please do so. I'm going to choose another topic now. All right, here we go. We're doing another one. Let's go with, another tricky one. Heroes. Be careful. You don't want a superhero that can fly through the air and do things. That's what other kids will do, right? Try and be different. Try and think of an ordinary, everyday person who is a hero. And again, the trap is, how do you keep it to 1 minute, okay, of action and not this big long thing, okay? So it might be, as an example, there's a blaze in a factory and someone happens to rush in and look for hears the screams and rushes in to save them. Just 1 minute, they are already there where they see the smoke coming out. 1 minute, okay? Never start a story with the person waking up at home. We don't want that. All right, you've got 2 minutes. Heroes, go. Well done, Jonathan. The key is that the story has to be simple. Yep, Ian, easy as that. Jarian, I wouldn't put Mount Everest. I would just put another mountain. Name another mountain, okay? Mount Everest is overdone. Lots of people have, because that's what the mountain everyone knows about. Just pick another mountain. Yep, well done, Belle. Yes, Gerald. 30 seconds, students. Okay, that's 2 minutes, guys. How did you go? Hit enter. If you didn't finish, hit enter, and let's see what you got up to. Guys, if you watch the replay, this review, read what other students have had. There's some great ideas in this list. I know during the lesson it's hard to type and read at the same time, but if you're going to review, we've set the recording to do the whole screen, so you should be able to read everyone else's ideas. All right, one more. Here we go. Oh, the runaway. 1 minute about the runaway. Remember, it needs a problem, it needs to get worse, and should only be a minute. Who's your character? I know many of you are thinking about a dog, right? That's your first thought. A dog has run away. Well, think differently, okay? Think about a person, where they're running away from, and perhaps their escape attempt. 2 minutes, go. That's okay, Avi, practice. Watch this video when it comes to your email and practice. Do this whole thing again. Fast forward to this bit. Pick some more topics. Practice. I promise you, you will be able to do 2 minutes if you practice. Well done, Michelle. Easy as. It's all it needs to be. Just a really simple, believable plan.
Michelle, there's a message for you. Yep, good, Ian. Maybe more than a minute, but
30 seconds left. Okay, 10 seconds. Now, students, when I say I'm going to pause the chat, you need to stop typing, okay? Otherwise, the system freezes you for a moment. You have to re-log in. So everyone hit enter now. Show us what you did. Everyone hit enter. You must pay attention. Hit enter. I'm going to pause the chat. Don't type anything. Stop typing. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's have a look at this one. I randomly copied it from the chat. Who? Jeb. Good name. It's a little bit different. Where? In an alley. Doing what? Running away from police. Tension. Here's them catching up. Complication. Slips over. Resolution. The getaway car comes. Now, we don't know if he escapes yet. Could be a good cliffhanger. Now, you might be thinking, but that's so simple. That's basic. Yes, that's the point. And you might go, but there's no detail. This is a plan. It doesn't need detail. You might go, but we don't know why they're running away from the police. That comes in the story. All the details will come in the story. The ideas are just simple. You don't need to think of anything complicated. And we will be showing you over the 9 days how to write some great stories using these simple ideas. Now, we have accomplished today the major goal about narrative writing, coming up with a good plan. The students who score the worst are always the ones who didn't plan it, okay? They started writing and the story ends up waffling, going on for too long, too many characters, too much dialogue. If you can come up with this plan in 2 or 3 minutes, your story is going to be better than most kids in your class, okay? If you stick to your word limit, you will actually finish, all right? Which is important to have a finish on it as well. So right now, in the short amount of time we have remaining, I'm going to introduce you to the paragraph. Let's have a look. As you can see, this is the who paragraph. But what's on the screen? Oh my goodness. Okay. If you're brand new to scribbling and what we do, a lot of this stuff won't make sense at the moment. So let me explain what's going on here. And you can rewatch the video to recap what I'm talking about. When authors write their sentences, they use words like these at the very beginning of their sentences, okay? For example, a where start could be above, beyond. Beyond the tree line, Shrek heard a twig crack, right? Under the porch, frogs croak, blah, 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 whatever. Or they might start with a when word, or a why word, or a verb word like waiting. Leaning back in his chair, Shrek wondered what he should write to Fiona. Leaning, did you hear that ing verb at the front? Maybe a prepositional start. Without his wife, Shrek's life had turned to a miserable mess, you see? So using these words at the start of a sentence, but that takes practice. That's why we have our regular Scribble TV. Okay, if you don't know what that is, on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for half an hour every one of those nights, we practice this stuff. Here are what we call phrase injectors. These go on the end of a sentence to help you add more information. Over here, we have the words that destroy the quality of your writing. If you use too many of these words, your writing drops in quality. And finally, there's some pointers on what makes a good who paragraph. And again, I highly recommend re-watch this part of the video. You don't have to watch all the other stuff. Get the recording and fast forward straight to, what are we at the 40-minute mark, and watch this bit again, okay? This is important. Now, on each paragraph, I'm giving you a suggested start. Down here in the pink box is a technique you can use to start each paragraph, okay? Tomorrow we're going to be practicing this, but let's have a look at the who. This is a really funky start we teach our scribblers. It's called the Updike 4 sentences. Have a look at it. Windows, chimney, garbage, lawn. Every moment Shrek spent thinking about his family, he remembered another neglected job around the house. Wow. If you start a story like that, your marker, your teacher's going to go, whoa, you're on another planet. That is brilliant. Right? Have a look again. One word, capital, full stop, capital, full stop, capital, full stop, capital, full stop. Okay? So, right now, in the 1 minute we have, let's imagine, okay? Let's go back to this one. I think it was Michelle. Jeb is in an alley, running away from the police. What are 4 words he's thinking? What are 4 words he's thinking while he's running away from the police? It could be items he stole. It could be people he hurt. It could be places he's thinking of running to. It could be the people who let him down. But let me add one more detail. Try and make your 4th one, see where I've got lawn? 1 syllable, if you can. This windows, 2 syllables. Chimney, 2 syllables. Garbage, 2 syllables. Lawn, 1 syllable. So 4 words. What is he thinking? That's all I want. Just give me 4 words. Let's go. Opening the chat. Go. 4 words. Try and make the last one 1 syllable. There, that's mine. Diamonds, watches, pendants, gold. Every moment he spent in the alley, he thought of the valuables that would set him up for life. You know, make him financially free for life. So 4 objects I chose. I like that, Michelle, but don't forget with the punctuation, Michelle. Rings, silver, emerald, cash. Each is a sentence. I know it's weird, right? Capital with a full stop. Capital with a full stop. I like that, Darby.
Remember capitals, Chris? Full stops.
Capitals and
Nice,
full
Michelle.
stops. This is the who paragraph. It's going to set us up nicely to write about the character, to describe the character. And we're going to do that tomorrow.
Angus, remember it's about this guy running from the police.
Caleb,
that could be in his loot bag.
Jules last.
Just 1 word there, Jindal. Full stops there, Hamad. And capitals.
Hamad, punctuation.
Yeah.
All right. That's it, Mr.
Hey,
P.
Mr.
We've got to
C.
go. I'm sure kids have other classes.
Can I just have 30 seconds to explain something for all these
Go.
guys? I made a message to Vivian about superheroes, and she was wanting to describe a patient catching COVID and then a nurse and then, months later recovering. Okay. The way to do that, Vivian, and for all of you guys, is instead of telling a long story, we're just going to get you to zone in on one scene describing a patient in a hospital with a nurse that you see as the superpower, okay? So what we do is we just describe that moment in time, and then in the resolution, the very last paragraph is when you fast forward into the future and describe the patient recovered at home, feeling wonderful about the experience that a superhero saved his own life, okay? That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
All right, guys, that's brilliant.
Brilliant stuff.
We're going to practice the Updike again tomorrow because it's a great way to start your story. It gets the attention of your reader to go, wow, this kid is different. They are amazing. Look at that. That's a great way to start a story. We'll practice. Yep. Okay.
Catch ya.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
It's awesome. We've got a lot to learn, a lot to practice. In about half an hour, your email address that you used will be sent the link to the recording of this. If you typed a mistake, we can't help that. Let us know and we can send you the link, okay? We'll see you same time tomorrow. Mr. P, they're a great group. I'm looking forward to these 9 days. These guys are going to rock.
Yes, right. Awesome work, guys, today.
Have a great day. Just watch the video. We'll see you tomorrow. See you, Mr. P.
See you, mate. Questions in the feedback, kids, because that's what I read. Catch up. Have a great holiday.